Doom has been a long-standing benchmark for computers of all types to prove their worth, because if your computer can run Doom, then it automatically gets an unofficial seal of approval. I don't make the rules, it just is. Well, I've been getting back into the retro computer scene for the past couple of years, and I wanted to show you all the Intel 286 based computer that I picked up. But I also wanted to do it in a fun way. So let's find out if this computer can run Doom. If you are in the know, then you may already know the answer to that question. But regardless, we're going to go through my journey of picking up this computer, testing it out, and finally answering that ultimate question. So I first came across this computer for free from a local computer shop that was giving away some old stock and things that accumulated over the past year. In that was this computer and the keyboard and monitor it came with. At first they thought it contained an Intel 386 based processor, but come to find out after closer inspection it had a 80286 CPU inside and a hard drive controller, DRAM chips, and not much else was really included. The latest date on the BIOS screen was 1989, so pretty old, but I was really hoping for at least a 386 CPU, but I wanted to see what this computer could really do, and I otherwise did not have anything in my collection that matched this computer. The Intel 286, or 80286 as it was known, was introduced in 1982 and was widely used in the IBM PC AT machines until the early 90s. That was introduced in 1984. A computer that set a gold standard for personal computers for expandability with the ISA bus and kernel support for networking. It also supported a real-time clock for time and basic BIOS memory support. This set the stage for what is known as IBM compatible computers. So the 286 was an important milestone in the history of personal computers, and even though it was not my ideal chipset to have, I am very nostalgic for it and its place in computing history. So when I first got it, I loaded it in to my workbench and I fired the machine up. Took a look around, and after some tests and tinkering, I found out that not only did this not have a hard drive, but the diskette drive was failing as well, and it would not read any of my known good disks. I tried writing new disks, I tried using pre-made disks, nothing worked. So, I promptly went to Amazon and eBay and found some modern solutions, which include an IDE to compact flash reader to substitute the hard drive. I already had a spare hard from an old camera. I also found a diskette drive USB emulator after much searching. The way the emulator works is you take a regular USB drive and using a piece of software like USB Floppy Manager that I've been directed to, you can manage and format mini 1.44 megabyte partitions. From there, you use the front-facing buttons on the emulator on the front panel to switch which diskette you want the computer to read, and voila, you're all set. From there, I wrote images of DOS 6.22 to the USB, connected the compact flash card, and away we went. Using fdisk to format and DOS setup, we were good to go. But not really, it wasn't really that easy. It took multiple tries to format and searching about 3 different versions of DOS 6.22 tested to really finally get it up and going. So, wasn't as easy as the first shot. That's why I had it on slave mode instead of master mode. Dang it. This is why you configure your pin setup right here. Your pin setup. This is why you configure your pin setup correctly. Alright. What is this? Continue, press enter. Alright. Why did those have errors? It works! It works! It lives! Oh my gosh. But that being said, it was up and running and I had to test this computer out. The first game up, Secret Agent. Oh, listen to that glorious PC audio. Next up was good old-fashioned Duke Nukem. Both games were absolute classics to me growing up. I had to stretch this computer's legs and push it a little bit harder. Let's see if Wing Commander would run at any kind of decent speed, or at all. The installer didn't leave any chances to let me know this computer is not a 386. But hey, the game actually works. I was really wishing that I had a sound card in this computer now to hear the glorious audio from Wing Commander. It's a little bit slow and choppy, but maybe slightly playable, but it ran like a champ. No old computer of this age would be complete without a floppy disk drive, and because I still had some old floppies kicking around, I sought out a working drive and proceeded to install it. No, when I mean floppy disk drive, I mean the 5¼ inch discs versus the more recent 3½ inch discs that most people had used in the 90s through 2000s, including myself. After the install was complete, I had to break out my 2 games that I still have on floppy, Zany Golf and Robot Odyssey. For today, I'll go ahead and test out Zany Golf. Zany Golf was released by Electronic Arts and featured a decoder wheel to thwart copy protection. So it was definitely something that was kind of unique at the time. Copy protection was a thing. Either you'd use a disc like that or a copy of a manual, and when you ran the game, it would actually ask you for a specific word or term from the manual in a specific spot or from the decoder wheel. Hey, look at that, the game works. Have a listen to the absolutely fabulous first course windmill music that blasted from my PC speakers. Not gonna lie, it sent chills down my spine hearing it again. Probably the first time in 30 years I've heard that music. I was having way too much fun, so before we run our test to install Doom, I had to break out one more piece of software and see if it installs and works. Behold, my parents' original copy of Windows 3.1, diskettes and all. I went ahead and copied the contents of the disks to my USB drive using my more modern Pentium 3 computer, which had both USB and diskette interfaces. And away we went. Installed it, and it works perfectly fine. So, can this 286 run Doom? That is the question on everybody's mind. So, I'm going to go ahead and load up this flash drive with the 4 disk images that is needed to run Doom on this computer. So, I went ahead and sourced the images, and let me see, it is Doom 1.2. So, with that, I'm going to go ahead and insert that into the floppy drive emulator. So I'm going to go ahead and select on it the appropriate drive for the first one. So let's go ahead and go to the diskette drive. So I'm going to load up a drive right there. I apologize if you can't see. It's not the best condition monitor, and plus I'm actually running this through a splitter as well, so the brightness is down a little bit. So yeah, anyways, let's go ahead and double check dir. We've got install. Let's install. Perfect. Which drive to install to? So we're gonna copy that to C drive. All right. Directory, I'm gonna put it in a games directory. So games slash, and the slash is on part of the keyboard here. That's different than modern keyboards. All right, games slash Doom. This directory does not exist. Create it. Y for yes. All right, answer desk 2, then press the enter key. Let's go ahead and switch to the next one. Hit enter. Moving on to disk 3, 3 of 4. All right, let's switch to disk 4, the final disk. And it was definitely not as full as the previous disk, and as you can see, the total installation percentage is nearly to 100%, so we're almost there. Finished rebuilding executable. Insert disk 1 again. So I'm gonna go back to the first disk, press enter to decompress. I'm decompressing. Nice and relaxed. All right. LHA's SFX 2.13S copyright Yoshi 1991. So it's decompressing the Doom.exe file, Doom executable, setup.executable. All right, so right here, it now says select controller type. Keyboard only, keyboard and mouse, keyboard and joystick. Now, I do have a mouse connected to this machine. It's a Microsoft mouse, but to be honest, I'm not sure if the DOS driver is 100% working, so I'll go ahead and configure keyboard only at the moment, just because that's how we mostly used to play back in the day anyways. All right, select music playback device. Yeah, so this machine has no sound card. I'm going to say I wish it had PC audio. I'm not sure if there's one like general MIDI. I'm going to select general MIDI just in case it includes PC sound, but it probably doesn't. Probably just going to be none, but I'm going to do general MIDI. MIDI port, let's just go default. Select sound effects device. That's the one, PC speaker. So most likely we'll only have sound effects and not music, which makes sense for sure. All right, let me go ahead and actually change the sound, the music card to none. All right, so we got the sound effects controller type, and then let's save settings and run Doom. But you can also run a network modem or serial game right from this option as well, or a save game right there. So that's not what we're gonna do, but I'm gonna do save settings and run Doom. So let's go ahead and see if this machine can run Doom. DOS 16M error 15. Protected mode available only with 386 or 486. Let's double check and see what that error is and see if we can get around that. Alright, so the instructions, it says that Doom requires an IBM compatible 386 or better with 4 megs of RAM, VGA graphics card, and a HDD. 486 or better, Sound Blaster Pro, 100% compatible sound card is recommended. And I've done a few different searches that says a 286 does not run Doom. Possibly also because it might need a math coprocessor, which this does not have either. So let us try a couple of things here just to see. All right, let us see. I don't think it will because it's the same kind of operation. Let's go ahead and boot up Windows 3.1 just to see if it's possible to run Doom through Windows 3.1. I'm 99% sure you're not able to. It's going to be running off of the same processor limitations, but let us try. Let us take a look and see if there's some difference here. I don't think there will be, but let's take a look. Okay, let's go. All right, so after a lot of research, a lot of follow-up, and trying it here again in Windows 3.1, I was not able to get Doom to run on this 286. So there's your answer. Currently, you are not able to run Doom on a Intel 286 based processor machine. So unfortunately, I'm not able to complete that task today. However, I did not want to leave out without some sort of reward or payout for the video, because I feel like, Doom wasn't the only first-person shooter at the time, and there were other amazing shooters. So let's go ahead and try one that's a little bit earlier that I'm pretty positive would run on a 286. Let's go ahead and try Wolfenstein 3D, because again, that was one that I grew up with even before Doom came out. Doom came out and kind of blew everything out of the water, of course, but Wolfenstein 3D was a landmark game. So let's go ahead and, just for experimental sake, let's install Wolfenstein 3D and see how that runs. let's go ahead and confirm that there's a new directory called Wolf3D. There is. CD Wolf3D. Alright, and let's try to launch Wolf3D. Can this 286 run Wolfenstein 3D? Or at least the shareware version of it. Ah! It's initializing, and it doesn't detect any of the other things. So it doesn't detect my mouse, but that's okay. All right. This 286 is running Wolfenstein 3D, which is a game that I played quite a bit when I was a kid, and actually kind of use it as the litmus test for when I got either hand-me-down laptop or something like that. Got that PC audio going. Yep, perfect. None of the other effects are on here. All right. Let's try. Let's do Bring 'Em On. Loaded pretty quick. Okay. Okay, so it makes a little noise when you hit a wall. Huh? The screen flashes and almost looks like it inverts the color for some reason. Kind of interesting effect there. Okay. But it's absolutely playable. Look at this. Especially with no sound card, just the PC audio. Yeah. I mean, it's a little drab because you don't have the audio. But if that's all you had was a 286, either a laptop, that was a thing as well, is a lot of the laptops were a little bit weaker than you would have with a desktop computer, and sometimes that's what you'd use, is especially if you had a work machine or something like that you wanted to run a few games on the side. You know, sometimes, I mean, it's very possible that you had a 286 laptop, if you had a laptop, at least early on. Because I could tell you right now, I had a hand-me-down laptop. Yep, trying to look for those doors. I had a hand-me-down laptop that I believe was a 286. I don't remember exactly, but I remember the bezels were huge. It was an IBM. And one of the tests that I ran was Commander Keen and Wolfenstein, and it ran both. The screen was really bad compared to now. This is absolutely playable. I mean, oh, I died because I could refresh. It was me trying to turn, and as you can see, the turning is actually a little delayed. As you could probably hear me hitting the keyboard, it's delayed and the refresh is not great. Plus, I was not aiming directly on. Continue on, but yeah, this is absolutely playable by old standards. If you look at it from, oh gosh. If you look at it through the lens of what people had for hardware and what the latest and greatest games were, you know, if all you had was a 286, if that was the family computer, or if that was the work machine that you had for some reason, then this is actually not bad, because I mean, relatively speaking, first-person shooters, this was a brand new genre. This was a new way to play games. You know, anything that was close to this would have been not as pretty and probably a similar frame rate. And anything would have been considered a Wolfenstein 3D clone or a Doom clone. Oh, yeah, I didn't turn fast enough. But yeah, so Wolfenstein 3D, can it run on a 286? Absolutely. Doom 1, however, no. Unfortunately not. That cannot run on a 286. At least currently, from what I gather, what I've seen, it's not designed to run on 286. It needs a stronger CPU and probably more RAM as well. But Wolfenstein 3D, its predecessor, if you have a 286 and that's all you have, and you want to kind of, you know, just make the most out of it, then yeah, you could totally run Wolfenstein 3D, get away with it, even if you don't have a sound card, even if you don't have any of the frills, even if you don't have a mouse. You don't have a mouse, you can run this no problem. Use the arrow keys, control in space, and you're in business. That's all you need. I'm not sure if you can run something like Blake Stone, which came out just like right around the same time as Doom. I should say, but I don't know. I think you can as well. But Wolfenstein 3D was kind of the main thing that people were playing before that. Now, one thing that you can do too, so it runs pretty well, right? It runs not too bad. But let me see, this window is a little bit small. So let me go ahead and go in here, and you can actually change the options. It says change view. And then let me go ahead and expand that and see if it still is playable. Hit enter. It's got to think about it for a second. Let's go back to the game. See how that affected it. Oh yeah, that is really choppy now. Oh no, I don't know. This is borderline. This is a borderline slideshow. I guess you could do it, but this might actually induce, with the way that that's refreshing, that might actually induce a little bit of motion sickness. I can almost guarantee. It's right at that threshold. So let's. I mean, it looks pretty good in a bigger screen, but the frame rate is terrible. Now let's go the other direction. Let's see how small we can get it. No, I can get it to a postage stamp. Let's try it. Let's try it. Let's see how playable Wolfenstein 3D is on a 286 on a postage stamp. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that. Yeah, that's such. Oh man, get out the binoculars on that one. Oh, that's 60 frames a second. That's crispy. That's sweet. I can't tell what I'm shooting at. You have to get right up into the. That's like counting pixels there. But hey, look at how smooth that is. Okay, the rotation's pretty good. All right. Oh, this is great. Oh man, that is scalability right there. Let's some food. Oh man, all right. I can't continue to play like that. Whew. All right. Let's go back to changing view. Let's bring that up a little bit more. Let's try to have a happy medium here. All right, a little bit bigger. A little bit bigger. All right. Let's go for this. See how well it plays. Yeah, now it's back to. Is it playable? Does it run? Yes. But is it a great experience? Oh, is there a dog? Yeah, it is. Sorry, dog. Is it a great experience? Probably not. I mean, you really. Let's see. Let's try to find a really good balance here. Alright, let's go down. Alright, let's try that. Let's shrinky dink it down. Alright, well, that's... yeah, it's not great, especially if you're playing on a smaller display, which most monitors at the time were not huge. Yep. Alright, well, it is playable, but would you want to play it like this? I guess if you had nothing else, if it was a 286, that's all you had, yeah, I guess. Find a way to get it to a TV that's bigger, even then the TVs weren't amazingly huge back then, early 90s. But yeah, this is playable. Would I want to play it on this now that I know of better ways to play it? No. But hey, you know what? You find the balance that works for you, and then as soon as a 386 comes out, you buy it just to play Wolfenstein 3D and do a bunch of other things that you can't do, like Doom. So, can it run Doom? No. 286 cannot run Doom. Can it run Wolfenstein 3D? Yes, absolutely. But the quality, you have to strike a good balance of quality for there. So instead of having a whole bunch of quality graphics sliders that we have now today, you basically have a screen size slider that says, cool, you want a better frame rate? Make the screen a little bit smaller. The viewable screen size is smaller versus larger and slower frames. So whatever will make sure that your motion sickness is in check, go for it. But this has been a really interesting experiment. So thank you for tagging along, and stay tuned for some more experimentations that we have. Will it run whatever? Will it run Doom? Will it run whatever? Let's find out. Let's play around. Let's have fun. We have a lot of other software to revisit and go through. But thank you so much again, and see you on the next video. Have fun. What is this? Continue, press enter. Alright. Why did those have errors? Disk error was detected. There's a lot. What disk errors? I mean, it didn't ask me to switch diskettes. I guess we'll see if it works. Got a bunch of errors reading those files. Pretty sure my USB is working well too, because I have it as USB drive emulator. Yeah, it's reading it fine. Here we go. I think I know how to do it. There we go. Just click that little button in there, right there, and then it clicks to the next drive, and then let's try it now. There we go. So the floppy diskette drive is emulator is working correctly, and the compact flash reader is working correctly as well, once configured and the pin set up correctly. Perfect! Always something. I guess the only other thing that could be causing a problem is RAM. And if RAM is bad, then it might have copy errors, I believe. But we will see. Disk 3